boom, boom, boom. New rosters. That's time. I mean, they're not all out, but we can at least start talking, right? What's good? It's F. Welcome to the breakdown. New season. I'm not casting. Fuck them, but I'm still here. We're talking Ghost Gaming. Now, this team is... So, the reason I wanted to hold off on roster reveals was because you need context, right? When you say, how good is a team... It's all contextual. When you say a player is average, it's all contextual. And it's all relative. To say a player is average, it's comparing him to the rest of the league. I got in trouble for calling Wolfie average. We're not even talking about Wolfie's team. We'll talk about Wolfie's team later. Shout out to Inbound, who's making it into the Pro League because of that. Anyway, Ghost Gaming, straight up. Here's the roster. Benji adapting, Big Man Tings, Cyclone Spin, and Aurora. This is a top tier team. Straight up. I mean, you've got the dual lane of Splice, Cyclone, and Aurora, which is much bigger than that. I actually question Big Man Tings, and I am always a guy that has questioned Big Man Tings. Jordan has been playing here for a while. He's been playing since 2017. So not the oldest. Like when we talk about a lot of our players, when we look at Barracuda, when we look at Zapman, these guys have been playing since 2013, sometimes 2012, right? Barracuda is actually part of that secondary. Shout out to Vicious and Delicious. Vicious and Delicious. He was on that team, right? And Delicious. Can I Google Vicious and Delicious? No, it comes up with a professional wrestling tag team. That's not going to work. Anyway, Barracuda came a little bit later. But Big Man Ting is definitely part of these, like, the new school. Maybe not the newest school, but definitely sort of these mid-game players, right? New things going on here. Beard, hair. I'm going to be, like, touching my... 2017 is when Big Man Ting started playing competitively. He played on Valen Squad, which was Ducky, Fails, Lobster, Funball. Not a good team at the time, which is funny because I think that Funball is very good. I think that Fails he's very good in the minor league. Again, everything's relative. I think that team probably prefer. But anyway, he played for Valen Squad, then he played for that Mouse Sports team, and then he played for that United team. So he's had 3 separate squads that he's really been on in the Pro League, right? He played different positions earlier on. He was playing support for Lobster and the boys, and then later on switched over to middle lane. His performance has always been average, right? You're looking at all of his placements being 4th, 5th place. Never bad, never great, right? A lot of people talk very highly about Big Man Tings. Big Man Tings to me has always been an average mid lane player that has some of these outstanding plays. But I've never been like, oh my God, Big Man Tings is the next coming, and that's fine, you know. But I think he's a strong player. He's probably the weakest player on this roster. And again, everything is relative. That's fine. That's a good thing. When your roster is adapting one of the best junglers of all time, arguably one of the best players of all time, Cyclone Spin, the same conversation. Aurora, the same conversation. Benji, even, the same conversation. I don't think Benji... Now, Benji gets another asterisk, and he already knows it's coming. But I think you look at Cyclone Spin, Aurora, and Adapting as individuals that have been at the best of their position and arguably the best overall. Like, what does it mean to be the best Smite player of all time or overall? Sure. That's a much larger conversation. But you can have those conversations with these players. Like, if you come up to me and say, I think the best player of all time is Scary D, I go, you don't know Smite. Now, if you go up to me and go, I think the best player of all time is Cuvo Fred, I go, I don't agree, but let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? the best player of all time in Smite is a bar conversation, not an academia conversation. But when we say that, I can look at Cyclone Spin and go, all right, sure. I can look at Aurora and go, okay, sure. And I can look at Adapting and go, okay, sure. I might even say that with Benji, but not really. But Benji is one of the most potent solo laners when he cares. We'll come back to that. Do I have to talk about adapting? He's adapting. It just you got Cyclone Spin, which has proven to work in a world where Aurora works. Aurora is paramount to this team. I think Cyclone Spin and Benji are players that need a strong leader. Adapting is half and half. Adapting will tell you he doesn't need a strong leader, but he does. Adapting will be like, nah, man, I do it all myself. It's all me, no problem, etc., etc. And it's probably like 80% adapting, but he needs a little bit of like, shut up and sit down. And Aurora can provide that to him. Or Aurora can provide. Aurora is one of the best leaders because Aurora provides what you need. When you look at other people, and this is in Aurora, Polar Bear Mike. Aurora and Polar Bear Mike are very similar in the sense, but let's go outside of Smite. Leadership in general, there are many types. And before we drill down into those many types, there are majorly two types that happen. You've got, this is my way, and players will react this way. And if they don't like it, they will not succeed in my system. Or you've got the leadership where it's like, this is, I will be the leader for whatever they need me to be, right? And you've got examples of the former when you look at Michael Jordan's coach and Kobe Bryant's coach, Phil Jackson, right? For those that don't know, and the NBA, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant go on to win tons of championships. They're some of the best players, but they also have a great coach, Phil Jackson, behind them. He won 11 championships, I believe. Sure, he had great players, and that's a, but he had a system of playing basketball, and he had an approach to playing basketball. And if you were a player that fit into his system, you won basketball games. You became a better player. He embraced, that was it. He's like, hey, this is my brand. We do this. And if you fit in, get in the boat, we'll go for a ride. Then there's another style of leadership where you are more amorphous. It is, instead of, we will elevate you to this spot if you fit in this channel, it goes, we will elevate everybody. It's my job as the leader to find out what you need. Maybe you need somebody screaming at you, you piece of shit. You need to scream more, or practice more, or do the math. Sit down, you fucking asshole. Or somebody's like, you know what? Everybody misses Kraken sometimes. You'll get them next time, champ. Two very different styles. But a coach can do both. And that's the type of coach that Aurora is. Aurora assesses what his team needs and will individually help you rise and grind, baby. And that's very important because Benji and adapting. Cyclone Spin is a great soldier that needs a great leader in order to aim him. Cyclone Spin is a smart guy and will, I'm not saying like me infantry, me dumb, shoot me in bad guy. Cyclone Spin's a smart player that gets it and will be involved and communicative, but he needs to be comfortable in the environment first. And we've seen that is very normal for competitive players. And so that's Cyclone Spin's world. Big Man Tings, I don't know much about him behind the scenes. He's a very sure player. I don't know if he needs the world's greatest leader, but, well, he might just have one. Adapting, again, is a player that, more importantly, I don't think adapting needs to be led, but adapting needs to be led by example. Nobody needs to tell adapting, this is what you do and why you do it. But adapting is going to walk into the locker room and go, These guys aren't as serious as me. Fuck this place. These guys aren't as good as me. Fuck this place. These guys can't do XYZ. Fuck this place. And so you need to entice, you need to create an environment that impresses adapting. And this is the environment to impress adapting. And then to a very similar but maybe lesser extent, you have Benji, who Benji is one of my favorite anomalies. First of all, Salt Machine has been, he and I get along. Like, disclosure, I like the guy. And it's funny because I think I've traditionally been very hard on him. But I actually really like Salt. Benji was on that E United team that was fucking people. Benji, Scream, Baskin, Panda Cat, Polar Bear Mike. They come real close to winning the Smite World Championship in 2019, obviously. SK Gaming kind of usurped that, but they win the fall season. They come third in summer finals. They win the summer season, right? Benji has been doing this for a while. He was part of Enemy once upon a time. Looks real good. Awesome stuff. If you compare Benji's performance to other people over the years, Benji's performance is not always numero uno. Benji can sometimes struggle to give a shit. Can I just say that? Benji doesn't always give a shit, and that's human and relatable. If I'm a coach, if I'm a fan, I'm screaming. There have been moments, looking when he was playing with that Flashpoint team, Homie FA and Vetium, right? There were moments later on when he played with E United before they started winning, right? 2017, they started winning. They won regionals and winning the fall split. If Benji's not engaged, which usually means winning, right? But not always, Benji performs worse. He takes a step down. He doesn't do what he needs to be doing. When Benji plays well, he's part of an environment and a system that he buys into. He likes what's going on. He gives a shit about the game. And I think that there are two things that make that happen. One, every time we've seen him, not every time, but most of the time when we see him play with Vetium, he really gives a shit. And most of the time when he's winning, he really gives a shit. So what we can grasp from that, what we can pull from that, is that in order for Benji to be all aboard, is give me a chance at winning a game and make me enjoy my time on the team. I'm not saying everything has to be and sure, I mean, Benji could be a more palpable, he could make life easier on his team, but oh well. That's just the variable we're dealing with. He's one of the best solo laners when he's on, and this is a roster that I believe will put him on. I think this is the type of roster that Benji succeeds in. This is the type of roster that Benji plays very well in. This team will be good. Like I said, I have a question mark on Big Man Tings, and maybe that's unfair. Big Man Tings might have proven himself, but at the end of the day, I do think that this is going to be a top-tier team. I think this team is going to do work. Cyclone Spin, Aurora, and Benji adapting should scare the shit out of everyone. Big Man Tings doesn't have to be a stand-up Starlight player. He might be. I don't put him as that. But I think this is the team that a team needs the role player mid laner. And, this is the team that I want a Wolfie, Venenu, Big Man Tings in my eyes on. Because adapting, Cyclone Spin, Benji, these guys, Benji shies away from the spotlight, to be fair. But these guys are going to be the guy. And you need a mid laner that's willing to, sit in the back and play up wash and press 4. Might as well. You need a guy that's willing to do that. And Big Man Tings is willing to do that in my eyes. I hope he is. Because if that's the case, this team will do work. Ghost Gaming, everybody, look out for them. Benji adapting, Cyclone Spin, Aurora, and big man things doing big man things. We will see how it works out. Subscribe, connect, comment, like, applaud. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/fswag. That works as well. We're full-time streamer. Do I have to make a whole video about that? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Please support the dream. Love you. Peace. Oh, I fucked it.